engineering and drainage, and I would like to add that the ditch be part of those conditions also. So basically, one is the site and the landscaping, that they be addressed. The other is the intent of the buildings, and I hope that the intent, for me, the intent is to upgrade those, to maintain those buildings and take care of them at this time until it becomes virtually impossible. But that's, I would like that stated, that those buildings are to be, what would we call it? I'm looking for a word. I guess just to be preserved and stabilized and yeah.
The work that needs to be done on them gets done.
I.e. re-stuccoed. The exterior I'm concerned about, the physicality of it. Those are my conditions at this time.
Okay, Ms. Prince?
Mine would just be that a stabilization strategy be established, and that be part of that building permit be contingent on that being present.
So is that just an expansion of the what I presented?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understood it correctly.
Yeah, I was having trouble with the wordsmith.
Yeah, my words are not coming easily right now either. I would like to see a drawing of fence locations relative to existing buildings to protect the existing tenants.
What does that mean?
You're going to have to put up construction fencing.
Oh, thank you. Construction.
I'd like to know where that is. I'd like to know, make sure that it's...
Construction was the word I was looking for.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to torture you and add more stuff to your project, but construction fencing is just going to be necessary if those buildings are going to be open.
Right.
If we could just, and I mean, ideally, keep them away from the walls as best you can. You're going to have big stuff coming back there, I know, but have you taken your, I'm sorry, just a quick question. Have you taken your driveway to the fire marshal yet?
Yes.
Really?
Fire truck turnaround?
It's really tiny.
Our,
I've never gotten away with a driveway that small.
the clearance between those buildings is upwards of 24 feet.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because of the fence. That's what has me pooped out. It's because of the fence. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure. A wall removal plan for the existing stucco walls. So that, and that's part of just the stabilization plan. It's just a wall removal. I just want to know that you're going to protect those walls. That's all I care
Say
about.
that again?
A wall removal plan, that wall that bisects at the driveways off of the doctor's office, you know this wall. Just when you take it down, I just want to know what your strategy is for protecting the wall, because it's attached to it, right? So I want to know what's going to happen in that building. That's all. It's just part of the stabilization plan. And how you'll protect it from damage.
No. It's not here. No. She's talking about the wall that goes.
Because you're going to take it out. You can't have a driveway going through it, right?
Which wall are you talking?
There's a wall right here.
There's not.
There was when I drove by the other day. Right, and I just want to make sure that, right, exactly. So, I just want to, it's just
We're just gonna push it out there.
without damage, that's all, huh? Yeah, how wiggles that well for you?
It's only this tall.
I know, but I've been on the unfortunate side of having one of my projects where a little bulldozer might have accidentally bumped it, and lo and behold, there was major damage. And then I'd just like to see a detailed plan for driveway and landscape. This kind of connects to him, but specifically with an erosion and sediment control strategy and a culvert plan. And it should I'm just going to help you out and not make you do the research. 18 inches would be perfect. Bigger is better.
This is a ditch along Paseo del Pueblo?
I wouldn't go under 12. If you can help it.
No, 18 is correct.
Okay.
24 feet.
I'm just saying for the acequia, when it gets restored, because that's part of the later plan, the last thing I want y'all to do is have your driveway moved up.
Right.
So,
We may even put in a head gate up there for the safety.
really?
Well,
we have the water rights, we have an acre water right to irrigate that.
Well, that'd make your landscape plan a lot easier, wouldn't it? If you used your water.
I don't know, we want to maybe, yeah,
Yes.
we're working on it.
And, you know, I would like to address maybe some idea of how you're gonna, if that construction, and it kind of relates to the construction fence, is it gonna come out into the, are you gonna bring it out into the street and block off that first set of parking, or how are you gonna protect it so that people can still turn in and out of there? Because if somebody parks up against that driveway and you got a concrete truck coming in, you're gonna have a problem. And so I'd just like to know what your plan is for that.
Okay.
You talk about the entrance,
Mhm.
that's up to the state highway department, they'll
Okay.
tell us what they want.
Okay. Well, then, will you put on there that we'll conform with anything that the state highway department asks of us for protecting the entrance and adjacent parking? That's easy.
Yeah,
Just make a statement. Just let us know that it's covered. That's
Are you
true.
done?
But it's at the, all of this relates to the second for me. Because if anything crunches that corner and it's affecting the second.
Well then, maybe we should take the Iseki out of the parking and so forth improvements and make it a topic in itself. I mean, it's getting extensive. I don't want to, a new item. Remove Iseki from my item and articulate it as an item number 3 or 4. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
18-inch culvert to protect the safety of it, so that it's got more flow capacity. As you won't hear any twice.
If you don't want to have your,
No.
if you don't want to have your driveway ripped out later.
That's already been discussed.
Okay.
It's a given.
Well, it has it here, so I don't have ESP.
I know, but it's normally not part of this process, we're discussing the safety of it.
The Iseki is part of the historic district for which I was hired to do a preservation
It's
plan.
not part of certificate of appropriateness for building designs.
It's,
It is now under your question and answer, so I encourage you. The application form doesn't discuss that.
That's it, okay, and then my request is that you not name these apartments Dragonfly or any other name of any other commercial business in the area that doesn't want to be named, or doesn't want to be associated with these apartments, or any other person's name that doesn't want to be without permission. That would be good. That's going to be a condition of mine. Are we ready to move on this with the conditions that are
We
stated?
have our conditions written.
Can I ask just one question?
You certainly may. Would you?
Planning and zoning?
Yes, you may.
I'd be happy to come up and get sworn in and state my name and all that. Is that-
Yes, please.
Karen Todd.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. So I'm concerned, there's 11 parking spots here for the 2 commercial spaces that we have in the front that will presumably be left commercial spaces, is that correct?
Presumably.
Uh-huh. And is that an appropriate amount of parking spaces for 2 commercial buildings, approximately 1,400 square foot each? Is that the appropriate amount of commercial space, parking spaces?
How many square feet of seating do you have in your restaurant?
I have the total square seating, or total square footage of the building is
No.
1,340.
Total square footage of seating divided by 100 would give you the appropriate number of parking spaces required.
I would have to do the measurements on my
1,400.
seating space.
So I would guess, based having been there, if it's 1,400 on the whole building, it's probably 800 square feet maybe seating area, I doubt it.
Does that include the front patio where I see
Not
people?
included, only interior of the building.
it includes, that's included in zoning plan, or in the building code though. You actually have to include outdoors seating. That's just common knowledge for every architect who's ever built anything. That's counted.
The code, as you're talking about being very specific, requires the seating area inside the building divided by 1. Therefore, it's probably 8 is the amount that you're required. Because that's an office mix, so that's a different calculation. And it's probably 11 total, would be appropriate. And when you do shared parking, you have a reduction in that requirement as necessary.
And that does include the front garden seating.
No, I said.
Well, I think that she just said yes. I
I'm
think she
saying
just said that that
we're
does
talking about
include.
specificity of what the code requires, not outdoor seating.
I think that she just said that it includes outdoor seating.
No, it does not.
Difference of opinions then.
No, it's not an opinion, it's fact.
Ms. Perkins?
The code actually, the parking is determined by the town code. So the town code says for a restaurant standard, it's one parking space per 100 square feet of seating and assembly area.
Assembly area would be the outdoor seating as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So is 11 spaces appropriate?
Well, also, in terms of just general knowledge, how many people can you seat? I mean, just,
Inside and outside, if the inside and outside is full, I can see 40 people outside and an additional 40 people inside, 80 people total.
wow. But you're in an urban setting. I mean, you know, people do park on the street and at the post office and so forth. Well, I'm just trying to be logical. I'm not
Yep,
trying
yeah, no,
to
that's
be-
absolutely correct. But, I mean, is that an appropriate allotment of spaces? 11 spaces provided, additional 11 spaces provided. 27 parking spaces required for the new construction, and additional 11 spaces provided for 2 businesses in the back. I think that's kind of petite.
How many parking spaces do you have now?
I have, oh, let's see. I think I would have about 30.
On the property?
Yeah, and that's, yeah, I mean, I graded it, I put the gravel down, it's about 30,
Okay, well,
which I felt was appropriate for the space that I was creating.
okay. Well, that was brought up in the preliminary hearing, what they were gonna do about the business, but we keep kind of glossing over it. I don't see where any of these spaces are designated to either you or the doctor.
And I do also think that the commission should know that I did receive a 30-day eviction notice from Mr. Charlton. So for non-payment of rent, and that can be disputed in that I was improving the structure itself, the structural integrity of the building, and the safety of the building. And so I withheld the rent, and now I've received a 30-day eviction notice. So I think that the commission should probably know that as well.
Okay.
Just as from your side note.
You want to finish the rest of the conversation?
Do I want to finish the rest of the conversation? What would you like me to
That's
say?
an excerpt paragraph from an entire history that I've been privy to.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just tell a bit of a story and make it sound like you were being thrown out on the street.
I don't understand where you're going with this.
We're meeting tomorrow morning to discuss it, are we not?
Yes, we are.
This is not an appropriate conversation for this meeting.
I think it's a fact that they should know.
Well, in as
fine, it's a
much
public
as
hearing.
Mark, in as much as we're talking about use, once again, we're talking about how many spaces you're gonna need for the new building, and how many spaces you need for the businesses that you're getting a deferment on in terms of the non-compliance of changing the use. We're trying to be logical. We're talking about how many spaces does she need and how many spaces does the new structure need, and is there something that we're missing in terms of not addressing the requirements of the existing business? Okay.
Well, just for an example, there's across the street, I own a property that.
Mr. Charlton, would you please come to the microphone again? Thank you.
Across the street is the ale house, which has, I think, 20 parking spots. It opens at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We were going to talk, one of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow was whether she could use those during the day, you know, up until 4 o'clock, and then after 5 they can park at the post office. So there's chances that there's additional parking that can be made available like that, like the 20 that are right across the street that are not any further away, except you have to cross the street, than parking in behind her restaurant. So things like that we're going to be talking about tomorrow. as well as her lease, that she won't, I've been trying to get her to write a lease she's been out of a lease for the last 7 years, and she won't negotiate a new lease, so that's why I sent her the letter. And she's behind on the rent, so just trying to get a lease going here. And as a month-by-month rental, I do have the prerogative to send her a 30-day notice.
And
I'm just trying to force her to
no,
come to terms of a new lease with myself.
right, well, in terms of who occupies the building and so forth, that's not really the concern of the commission, but it is a concern of the commission that if that would work as a restaurant, whether it's the Dragonfly or something else. And in terms of conditional use, you probably would have to keep it as a business in kind. And the parking problem really doesn't go away
No.
because you change owners. So, with all due respect, I don't really, who's paying the rent is not important.
The Apple Tree has the same problem with parking.
Anything downtown, any place urban. But we'd like to know once again, what the intent is with it, I believe.
Right. So I'm just telling you some of the things that we can talk about, where
Sure.
she can have 20 more spaces available.
Okay. Or her or another business. We just call it a restaurant. We're not calling it the Dragonfly, essentially. I hope you guys work it out.
Thank you.
To everybody's satisfaction.
Here. So, does anyone want to make a motion? You ready to make one? Not ready to make one? Where do we want to go with this? We've got the conditions outlined.
One question that I have as the staff, I believe the applicant presented you 2 options as far as that outside hotel. And I don't think you've given the applicant any guidance as far as which version you prefer.
That's a good point.
Thank you. We lost that in the hullabaloo.
I think it would be okay to try the wood. You can always stucco over it if it doesn't work out. I mean, whereas if you stucco it, it's hard to make it wood. I mean, I guess you can put planks over it, but I think the wood would help soften the. So I would vote for.
I would agree with that. I would go for that. Okay, you got 3 right there, 3 out of 5, so. What do you think about the wood? Never mind. Okay, so we're moving on after that.
At this point any further, we have talked this thing. If we need to proceed with the motion, I support what Commissioner Palacios was indicating, that we go ahead and approve this certificate of appropriateness with the conditions that we have already mentioned and move forward.
Okay, we have a motion. You have a second?
And I would like them read back before I make a vote. I would like them read back, please. So, sorry,
Well,
we're trying your patience out there, but I would like them read back.
Okay, let's see how I've done. Parking conformed to the town's landscape plans and
Grading and drainage.
engineering drainage, including basically all the site and landscaping issues being addressed with the acequia as a separate condition. Okay, and then you would like the existing 2 buildings preserved and stabilized and maintained with the preparation of a stabilization strategy to be on file with the Planning and Zoning and Buildings Department before the issuance of a building permit. You would like drawings of the construction fencing for the other property owners, as well as a construction plan that outlines how you're going to be protecting the existing buildings, the wall, and the acequia with a minimum of 18-inch culverts. You will, and with that, you will conform with what the State Highway Department requires for preservation of the acequia. And you will not name the apartments or continue to call them during the process of approval Dragonfly or any other business or person's name which you do not obtain approval for. And I believe that's it.
Did you
I don't know
include
if you-
verification against Article 1616 228, letter D?
Which is, okay.
Construction.
Straight out of the book. As long as we're good with that, and they tell us we can move forward, that's great.
Okay, so we have a motion. Thank you, Ms. Perkins. That was a great job. You're doing great. Do we have a second? Or do we have a second?
She
No,
seconded.
no, she said she wasn't going to second it. Was
I'll
not
second
going
it.
to. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Okay, let the record note that Commissioner Lucas left about half an hour ago, so he's no longer present. Okay, roll call, please, or vote on this.
Okay, Commissioner Prince? Commissioner Choma?
Yes.
Chair Spray?
I'm going to abstain on this one, thank you.
Commissioner
Yes.
Delotis?
Palacios. Palacios.
Okay, it's all right. Yes,
Okay, so the motion passes 3-0 with one abstaining. Did I do that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. Okay, good. See ya, good luck. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing on this case number HPC 2013-3. And now the commission is going to hear case number HPC 2013-6. Jeffrey Shardell, property owner, and Doug Patterson with Living Designs Group, requesting a certificate of appropriateness for both demolition and remodel of a non-contributing building.
May I, Commissioner?
Please,
Fred?
please.
I don't know if it's possible for me to review the case before us, HPC 2013-6, because the drawings are incomplete. We don't have a demolition plan. I don't know what's there, what they're demolishing. It's just an incomplete set of drawings. I mean, I can't suppose what they're going to do or guess.
Yes, that's the problem I had too. That's why the staff report is the way it is.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get that far.
My understanding is that the applicant wanted to make a presentation as part of the preliminary hearing, and so that we could get our questions addressed. It seems like it's much more straightforward than the last case that we heard. But I need to make these applications so that they're clear and so that we are getting the information that we need.
Okay, so given that it's incomplete, are we willing to have a conversation to get some questions answered in a preliminary hearing?
We table it until the application is complete, and that's in fact exactly the procedure as it's outlined. Not in increments, but in fact, it doesn't even come up before the commission until the application is complete, exactly as it's indicated in the code book. That's what we have it for. It's incomplete.
I guess I would like to, since the applicant is here, just have them run through the project really quickly for us.
Okay, let's do that.
If you
I'm
don't
sorry.
mind. Is this one of those things where we're gonna get stuck having to make a decision next time though, because we're not gonna have complete information?
Understand that the commission has the right to continue the hearing or say that it's incomplete and ask for another hearing.
We need to suspend this application until the application is complete, and it must be complete by procedure before it comes up before this commission.
I'm, just one second. I think I'd like to, this is a tough one. I would like to honor Ms. Perkins' recommendation.
I agree. I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah, we'll just get an overview from you with the understanding that we're not going to make any decisions at all tonight.
Thank you, members of the commission.
Can you state your name?
I'm sorry, I'm Richard Gilliland with Living Designs Group. There really haven't been any changes since this was submitted to the town. And from my understanding, there was no feedback from prior submissions saying this application was incomplete. Maybe something I'm not aware of.
We've never seen this project before.
Yeah, we have never seen this before at all.
All right, I have a packet that was submitted to P&Z on the 16th. I assume that's something different. I apologize. I was not aware that we needed a demolition plan, especially as obvious as it is from the photo. An existing
What photo are you
condition.
working off of?
I have photos as part of this application that's showing the existing conditions. There are photos of each elevation and photos taken from the elevation of the surrounding context.
Ours are black and white, and they're extremely difficult to understand what's going on. I mean, I'm an architect too, and I'm like sitting here going, yeah, and.
I have a color version. I don't know how they got submitted in black and white.
Totally right.
It's made somewhere. We have a complete packet here. I do not have a demolition plan. However, I have an existing floor plan. I have a proposed floor plan, which very obviously demonstrates the demolition that would occur.
Oh, existing is also cut off from our drawings, and so is half the drawing, or at least a portion of the drawing.
I did not make this copy. This is the existing floor plan. And I have a packet for everyone showing all of the proposed renovations. Color.
We can only copy it.
You did call and ask previously, doing this in the past, we had done a packet for each commissioner, found detailed packet, and we were getting rid of theirs in front of the trash after each hearing, so I cut down on expenses by not doing that. But I have the complete packet in this binder here, showing notifications to neighbors, surrounding tax map, all
These
adjacent.
shows are complete on the second page.
Okay, well, this is more than what staff received as well. I don't know.
That's right.
I have the packet that was submitted to P&Z.
We're not-
I'm sorry?
Do we have, other than the photos, do we have any plans for what's existing?
I have an existing floor plan, I mean, the survey of the existing site.
An improvement survey or something? Is this at the back? Is this it? Right.
Who is responsible for the lack of communication or the lack of this being?
Partly it's probably me, maybe just because I'm so small.
Yeah, no, I don't mean to call you out, I'm just wondering if you, I'm saying this in a way to teach, like if there's something else that Doug Patterson's group can do to make this more complete for us by the time you get here, it would be easier for you.
Right.
We need to know how much of the building's been demolished and how much of what's being added, and then what the treatment is for the walls, for the windows, what the details are.
I've got all that in my
This packet, I believe,
binder.
is a little bit more complete than what we have.
That's a small portion of my actual packet. I'm sorry, I was not under the impression that we're going to be making a complete packet for each commissioner. Apologies. I have it all right here, though.
Well, no, but I mean, you need to submit a complete package to somebody. And
We
the copy
submitted-
is an administrative procedure.
We submitted this package right here.
Should the code administrator first,
Put in a
who
requisition.
verifies it, and then brings it before the
I
commission.
think if she hasn't seen it, we can't look at it.
This was submitted to P&Z on.
We're not looking at it.
Normal, we weren't doing this.
Yeah, she asked
Okay.
us to look at it, and it's not a public hearing.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if you haven't seen the drawings, I have some real,
I have seen the drawings.
because there's
but
more
there are
drawings than this
pages.
than there are in the package you gave
Yeah,
us.
there's more pages.
There's more drawings than that in my package as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I'm
no.
not sure I got the.
Yeah, well, this is gonna be a very informal
Let's find out.
discussion. What's the
Yeah.
intent?
Right.
And could you paint a picture for me of exactly what buildings you're gonna be taking
Yes,
down?
this is color picture.
For example, where is Montoya's TV shop?
Montoya TV Shop's on Ranchitos Road, 209 Ranchitos Road.
Where is it on this drawing?
This is the renovation, this is the proposed renovation site plan, the existing site plan shown in this survey. It is that exact footprint minus, if you look at the
This
existing
is
floor plan
really
there,
important.
minus the far west wing, which in these pictures is this part of the building with the slope shed metal roof, which is condemned, I don't think it's actually been condemned, but it's beyond repair. And that's the only part that is going to be demolished, is the far west wing.
Can you show us on the plan? where it
Yes,
is?
well,
Circle
roughly show where it is, it's about,
building or what?
not even half, well, actually, yeah, just about half. So if you look at the proposed, sorry, the existing floor plan.
One second, is this Amistad Lane here? Where is the entrance to, or Dragon's Nook, formerly known as Dragon's Nook?
That is on, yes.
That's this one?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Well, I'll just give you a lowdown. The existing building is such as shown in these photographs, the ones that are labeled the building elevations, not the pictures looking from the existing building. The only part that's going to be demolished is the west wing of the building, which is this wing of the building here, with the slope shed metal roof, which doesn't even actually fit in context with the rest of the pueblo. So that building and it's completely falling apart. That is right here. This is proposed. Existing.
This is the existing, isn't it?
That's the existing site, exactly. And this is the existing floor plan, 1,075 square feet. This is the site plan showing the proposed footprint. The existing building is this minus this. From this wall west is being demoed, which is this section of the building. And it is falling apart as a rat mess. I don't know if you've been there. There's a piece of this part of the building is going to remain. It's no longer going to be a two-story space. Have one of those. The renovated building is going to look like this. So it's just minus that west wing. It's going to be lowered in elevation. It's going to be cut off. The top will be a one-story space with some clear-story windows back on the north side. It's going to keep the existing rough openings of the windows that are currently there, and there's going to be new windows put in.
They're almost below grade.
No, they're about 2 feet above grade. Also shown in these photos.
So the part that you're changing is going from a pitched roof or a gable roof to a flat roof?
No, the gable roof is being demolished. That's the wing of the building at 101.
So, but where's the two-story part?
The part that's currently, the part that's going to remain is a two-story space, actually 1.5 stories. It's 1 story with a loft space. It's about 5.5 feet.
You're keeping all of that, or you're?
No, there is short elevations for the part of the building to remain, because it's going to be lower. And if you can see from the buildings, they have a second story set of windows, those will no longer be there.
He's
The
just
renovated
giving an
building
overview,
is
that's all.
gonna look like this. It's gonna be a shorter version of what's there minus the west wing. Gonna keep the same openings to the windows, and they're not gonna be the exact same. They have a detail to where they're gonna be 2 feet tall, the finished floor of the building. The
What's
place-
the purpose of the new place?
The new place is gonna be an art gallery. So it's going from unoccupied, practically condemned building to just a renovated art gallery. Correct.
Okay, so just, yeah, in discussion.
That's mostly what I want.
Okay, but you're changing the character of the buildings. That's gonna be part of your proposal. And then as an art gallery, why would you want a lower ceiling? Why would you want a lower building?
Because there's an unoccupiable first and a half story loft space that will not meet code and is falling apart.
No, but can't you include have a loftier space in the art gallery so you can have lighting and et cetera? I'm curious.
We should post that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so here's what needs to happen is you need to come back and you need to come back with, like, those boards would be nice or something that really much better explains and paints a picture for us of what you're gonna be doing.
Peter and Mark to do all that before and after.
Or wait a minute.
Yeah, before and after.
Just consolidate all your work and clarify it so that we have a clear picture of existing and what you plan to take out. It's not that hard.
Okay, no, it's not hard at all. This is just some
But it's hard to
miscommunication that we were
communicate
hoping
to
to
us.
take care of tonight.
That's fine, we'll have the first hearing on this application the next meeting,
October 16th.
October 16th. And before then, you'll work with staff.
Okay. I'm sorry you had to sit through all
Yeah, I didn't, I'm sorry too.
I just got some notifications.
No, and it's good that you're concerned and you want to see what it is. And also,
Very easy. I understand
I hope you come back
everything.
with any input if you have any concerns.
Which we
Well, I
have.
don't know, just know what's going on.
There's some
Yeah.
kind of miscommunication, don't have it.
We get it, it's fine, let's just do it that way. And thank you for going over it just cursorily so we have an idea of what's going on.
It's not conforming
Okay, good, do you want these back for now?
Yeah, so you guys all that back.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the process.
Okay, so, no, we can't.
And maybe
We
next
aren't
time
done.
when they come and present this, and make sure if there are any to have a
We aren't done because there's matters from the
and say,
Actually,
I didn't even know what.
no, that's what I'm saying. Thank you for your patience and I understand. And your input.
I'm usually.
No, I got that, but if you go through that.
All right.
next time,
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, wait, we have matters from commissioners number 8, and I think okay, I forgot, I'm sorry, I closed the public hearing, which wasn't really a public hearing. Okay. We have number 8, matters from commissioners.
I just get you this.
Thank you.
I had 2 quick announcements on matters, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. 2 quick announcements on this matters from commissioners. I just want you to know that we've been through a couple years of trying to get Siberian elm eradication in the historic district under control. And we did have a suggestion from an arborist through Mr. Perea found an arborist. I just want you to know for your own information that that will be coming up again over the winter so that this commission has said many times they'd like to have a brochure and some public education done before the Siberian elm starts sprouting up again next spring so that the public could be more aware of how to get rid of them if they want to. Because of their serious problems with the acequia system downtown. Invasive species. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that that'll be coming so that you don't get caught unaware. And also I wanted the commissioners to know that a member of the public, not David Mapes, who came before to talk about murals in the sign code in the historic district, I had another large property owner who wants to do a historic mural welcoming people into Taos at Come To Plaza upstairs on her parking. So I wanted you all to know that we should at some point have a conversation about that, and that'll be coming up too. I just want to give everyone the heads up on that. Okay, Marika, you had a couple significant issues with the way that this work's being handled. Do you want to say more?
Well, I think I sort of made made that clear because, and it was really all just a result of pulling out the code book and rereading it for the first time today after 2 years, and you forget this stuff, okay? And what I saw was an absolute clear-cut procedure on where applications have to be before they reach the Historical Preservation Commission. And so one of my first questions today was, that's why I had that question, because it was, who is the administrative, the code verification person? Because they've changed over the years. And when I first joined the commission, it was in fact the town manager. Okay? Well, as it reads, the person who is the administrative verifying code person is the one responsible for putting together, making sure the applications are complete in totality, that they conform with the code, does all of that, and then brings it before the commission. We found ourselves slowly through changes, just bit by bit by bit, just kind of, okay, we'll accommodate this, we'll accommodate that, and before you know it, we as a commission are off track. We, in quite a few meetings, have placed ourselves in increments, in a position to say, oh, let's continue this, we still need to see this, we still need to see that. The real truth of the matter is, all that needs to be gathered for the sake of efficiency before we ever see it, before it ever comes before the commission. So that's why, and that person takes the responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the commission to indicate, well, we still don't have this and we still don't have that. It also puts the public, we're interfacing with the public over projects, and when we do that, a lot of them are thinking that we're responsible for that. We're not. Why? Because we are as subject to that code book as the applicants are. And that's why I'm trying to make that point today. We're not the bad guys, but by God, we bear the liability if we don't follow it. So that's why it was so important for me, because I have this page, I'm so happy to share it with you, for non-conforming properties, exactly where I stopped and I went, wow, we had better make sure that we can introduce a project as was discussed today. It's not about good guy, bad guy, and it's not about being nice or trying to be cool. I disagree so much with Commissioner Lucas's statement of, well, I don't know what this is about, and I think personally that we are wasting the time of the applicant. You bet we're not wasting our time, your time, or the applicant's time. But that's kind of sort of really needed to be defined, and I'll be happy to share with you that one page that is of concern to me because it is written so specifically. And what I have found out recently, to boot, that gives that last statement of mine more power, is that we literally, no matter how cool and how many architects we have and designers and how much we support, we are not authorized to say yes to a project unless it is approved and in code. And then if we can, we have to go through this process of indicating what changes we would like to make to the code. those changes are rewritten, presented to the town council, and we need the town council's majority approval. So that's all written in here, and reading the code book today was a revelation, because I had gotten quite far away from it, because we try to help the public. There's also a statement in there that says we are here not to hinder, we are here to help the public, we're here to be efficient, we're here to move projects ahead. But at the same time, is very specific on how to do that. So the suggestion here is to have all that together, because that's the fastest way you're going to get it done. Okay? So anyway, those are a couple of the things that I became enlightened about, and then I looked at today's packet of the 3 projects, and then I saw the last one, and I said, my God, this is not ready to be presented before the commission. What also happens is that we bear the liability of doing things on the commission, reviewing a packet that's incomplete, which is outside of what we are authorized to do as well. And there are repercussions for that. So, that is all. These are the reasons why, about 3 meetings ago, I said, you know what, when this 20 unit, now it became 18 unit, complex came up before us. I mentioned code at that time. I mentioned how specific it was with the historic district, and this is not yet. I said, that doesn't mean that we can't change it, but we have a process for that. And let's work on that. At the same time, this is why I simply made a call to the commissioners to, maybe we ought to sit down and regroup and refocus. Because I know for myself, it's been a while since I read that code book. But I know when it comes down to decision making, and what the gavel goes down on, that's what's going to be referred to. That's what the town attorney is going to refer to.
He's going to refer to that.
You bet. And we all bear the liability. So this is not because I'm a stickler. This particular commission, I think, is really forward-thinking, is really into doing stuff. We really came up with some innovative ideas and flexible changes and continuing into the future. And as I mentioned earlier, those ideas were worked on for weeks. We had special meetings. They were never presented before the town council. And therefore, we are still looking at the old code book. When I found that out, I truly was in shock. I'm like, you are kidding me. We spent how many weeks and it never went anywhere? So what I'm getting is, we are subject to the old one. It doesn't give us a bunch of variation and being cool and being the nice guy or any of that stuff. We're subject to this darn thing. Nothing moved off that plate. After all of the thinking and new directions we want to go, and we're also liable.
Ms. Perkins, do you know where all the work that this commission did a couple of years ago toward changing the Historic Preservation Code, part of the code? Do you know where that is? Have you seen it?
No, I have not seen it. I'd be more than happy to look at it. I'll bring it to the.
Was that
to
when
the
Bill
council.
Morris was the planning director?
To the planning and zoning.
Right?
Sorry, even before him, Matt.
It was when Matt Spriggs was the planning director.
Work.
So, or Matt Foster, it might have been, he was interim, might have been Matt Foster, it was one of the two Matts, Spriggs or Foster, before Bill Morris came. Well, Foster was just sort of interim, I think.
But he was at the
Okay, then it
while we were
Then it was after
constructing.
December 2011,
No,
because that's when Matt Spriggs quit.
little markers.
So,
That's how specific all this stuff is.
Okay.
Procedure specific, everything.
so maybe we can find that work, because it was, special meeting, lots of them. It was a lot of work by this commission. So that'd be great. And I think it'll be right around the beginning of 2012 that work was done.
Okay, I will look for it. I actually appreciate your comments tonight. It was my understanding, I know what the code says, it was my understanding that the preliminary hearing was to introduce the project and get people familiar with it, whereas the second hearing was where the real decision-making was made. So I will take responsibility for that because that was my understanding. The other thing that I saw was some of these with like the last case I saw that was residential was I didn't see a lot of detail as far as the application. So I wasn't sure at what level of detail that you were looking at. There tends to be a comfort level with different agents, different contractors that all of us end up relying on, probably more so than we should. And so I think that you also brought up a good comment regarding that. As far as the code and the specifics in the code, I think as long as you're meeting the intent of the historic district overlay as a commission, I think that's worth a lot, and that's why you're here. I wasn't so sure tonight that you really wanted to support the 18-unit complex. It's your decision. Don't feel pushed into it. I'm coming in, mid-phase on this. I don't know what was discussed really in the previous hearing. I asked for the minutes. The minutes are very vague. So I would have to actually listen to the entire meeting. And so this is a learning process for me. And I'm thankful that you're humoring me and giving me the opportunity to come up to speed. I'm willing to take your code changes through the process to try and get a new ordinance. And, I am just so pleased that you guys have so much expertise and that you care so much. And I really appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you. That's really sweet, thank you.
And I am looking to you to provide me, comments that you have tonight. They mean a lot to me, and I will learn a lot from you. And so I'm hoping that we can work together and really create the downtown that you guys are hoping for with the historic district overlay.
I am so impressed with your knowledge and your expertise. You are really a joy to work with.
You
So,
have been so far.
Can
Can I just say something so I can go? I'm sorry,
Yes,
I have to go
yes.
back.
Yes.
My project's gonna be on HGTV tomorrow morning. So I gotta be there for filming. So I have to go back down to Albuquerque, I'm sorry. But I just wanted to commend you also. I think you're fabulous and it's wonderful to have you on board. I just wanted to forewarn you in keeping with the spirit of what Ms. Choma and Ms. Spray and Oscar Palacios do and have said to you that I am intending on the next 4 months, my last 4 months on this commission, I'm assuming, to torture you a little bit in the sense of, but in a kind way, in the sense of I really want to, when I leave Taos, those acequias are going to be protected. And I just am not going to leave until I get that done. And I'm going to be a thorn in anybody's side who steps in my way. It's going to happen for me. I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying, like, if people don't like it, get ready, because I'm ready to do it. And the other things that I would like to work on to help you are, I'm also preparing a list of requirements for the drawings that my firm submits. And I would be more than happy to shoot that over to you because they're extensive and they're clear. And it would be something as simple as you being able to mark it off the list if it's not relevant to you. But I think that, if I can help, it's happening, and I can send it to you and share it and try to make it helpful. The other thing that I would offer is that we still have not seen resolution on the sign ordinance. I'd like to see the sign ordinance as it is, if it was changed at all by council. And the other part of the sign ordinance that I'm going to be working on in my final stint as a commissioner is to try to get the mural stipulation completed and the neon lights, the neon signs stipulation also cleared. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up that I might be sending you some emails over the next little bit and requesting some meetings. It's not to torture you, really. I was just joking. But those are things that are, I want to leave, I'm really big on leaving a legacy, and if there's anything I can do, I want to leave this better than I found it. And I know we've done that as a commission, but it's really important to me that these issues are addressed.
So you're leaving?
I don't think I want to be here anymore.
No, in defense of Pavel, and we have other issues that I don't think they're fair to discuss now, but in fairness to what he was commenting on, is that what we're talking about now is very appropriate for the commission and for you, and I think about 2/3 of what you presented today to the people in their hearing. In other words, when we discuss uncertainties within our position and our power and our interpretation, it really kind of frustrates and weakens our position with the people that we're discussing.
It's appropriate during this section of the agenda. not
During this section. No, I'm just saying, we
No,
need more.
that may be so, but here we are asked to make motions, here we are asked to make decisions,
Well,
and this was big. I mentioned it last time. It's like, I mentioned it in the last meeting that we really needed to check whether we even can go there with this project. That didn't happen.
Okay, but as she is pointing out, what they really want, what they really want to know is not what we did or didn't
That's
discuss.
right.
What they want to know is if you're uncomfortable with it, then
I mean,
then don't go for it.
honestly, with the way that was and not, and being in no man's land about that until that was clearly defined, I personally would have just said, hey, we need to just take a break and not have that meeting tonight, especially if we were asked to make motions on it. Thank God we got, we made a motion on it with all of these conditions. But imagine, Oscar, if it turns out that the town attorney looks at this like he did with our other last little simple request and said, hey, the code is clear. It says, that was it. It was that black and white. That was a real wake-up call for me. And here we are talking about things that we personally think are cool, and I don't have a problem with it. But that's not what we're doing.
No, wait a minute. In terms of evolving, I'm also trying to be sympathetic that this is like the 3rd month that these people have come here.
I know.
And there has been disarray in all of this and frustration. And we've also maybe have presumed that the stuff that we did half a dozen workshops on to help rewrite the code when we formed, this commission is new, by the way. It's only like a 4-year-old commission. We seceded from the regular planning and zoning to have a voice because what they had done historically, this is my 2nd tenure, I did 6 years in the late 80s, was that there would be like a half a dozen commissioners, and then there would be 2 or 3 historic preservation people. And we were allowed to comment on things at large, but not to vote on them. And then when things went straight to, in the historic, we were allowed to vote alongside of them. So it kind of dissipated our vote. Along the time that we were trying to, we came on this last time, this tenure, we were then told that we had no vote and that the commission would listen to our input and we could make a recommendation and have a seat here, but we didn't have a vote. And then
that got changed.
Well, no, it didn't get changed. That's how it was, and so we seceded.
Right.
That
We
was
said-
the actual
We're a
legal
standalone
process of this
commission.
We're a
becoming a
standalone
commission.
commission.
So we're still being called a committee.
I got it. I
And-
understand why that's a.
There was this whole state legal process that the town attorney, et cetera, for town of Taos, went through that, that to create a bona fide commission.
A standalone
And
commission
that-
that doesn't have to just refer to be. in-
Yeah, that's a quantum leap.
And part of the battle was what they wanted us to do was to vote and hear things and then present that to the planning and zoning. And we vetoed that and we said we wanted to report directly to to the council. I mean, our reports don't go to the large P&Z. We're our own entity, and we're still struggling with all that. And along that, we tried to rewrite the bylaws. We spent at least 6 workshops with Matt. Maybe Matt Spriggs was the head of that department, but Foster was inclusive in those meetings. And then later, during these sessions, we did that with the sign code. And neither of them were ever incorporated, really.
Yeah, won't allow murals and things like this. I mean, it's just impossible.
So I don't like to weaken our position, ourselves in the face of the public in terms of discussing what we have rights to do. I mean, I think we have rights at large to discuss a project and its physical impact on the existing infrastructure. And outside of that, it's this thing at large, section 42B or whatever.
Well, here's the
I
thing,
think we should go.
the way to not waste these people's time, the way is to head to, pulling it together, be tight, and be efficient. Honestly, I showed up, I guess it was Friday, to pick up the packet, and I was told, not gonna be ready on Monday. Well, see, and I could not. Well, did I show up on Monday? I think I showed up on Monday, and that won't be ready until tomorrow, Tuesday, 12 noon. I couldn't get here until 4 o'clock.
I had the same issue, by the way. I was there Monday.
I did notice what was here. I did notice an incomplete thing. It was too late to do anything about it.
No, but that's why we used to get them at least a week
If
ahead
we
of
get
time.
the packet at the very latest the Friday before, we can get a heads up and go, hey, we need to switch a few things around. We can't see these people, or we needed to find this before we can make a ruling, blah, blah. We didn't have any time.
Okay,
So
I know that. I mean,
And it's not a negative on you, but that's why I got that uncomfortable. And in defense of what? At the same time, I will hold to integrity, and you can't. This is an important issue. We find out and we verify it through someone else and not ourselves that we even had. This is how baseline is this? That we even have the ability to authorize this type of a contemporary project, even if it's contemporary Pueblo. It's not on the list. If we have that authority, fabulous. But we really need to find that out. I'm going to show you the pages when I get them.
Okay, we have to make a motion to adjourn, but also Ms. Perkins, this is not about you at all. You're brand new, and everybody, for us to do our work, the sooner we can get it, the better, and I understand I totally understand what's going on with you, so it's nothing. We appreciate your staff reports are better than I've never had this good of staff reports, ever. So, I mean, you're doing great, and it's just, we'll just all work it out, and we'll all be patient with each other, and we'll learn from each other. I can't make this motion, so someone of you needs to make the motion to adjourn.
So how come the people left now?
Oh, let the record show that Commissioner Prince left about 5 minutes ago at 7:45. She had drugged Albuquerque.
My wife is here.
Make the motion.
Make the motion
to adjourn.
Okay, second? Those in favor? Aye, let's go.
Make the motion. Answer the question. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Yeah. It took about a month.
The bottle of wine. Totally what I did. Bless your heart. I know you understand the frustrations. It's just
Oh, I wish I could get this thing turned around so much faster for you
Got the
guys.
same system as I do.
Before you go into that, can I just, so that I don't have to stay, can I give her these?
Sure, go ahead.
Here, there was a request for me to sign that, and that's.
Right,
and that's-
right.
You know, I just signed these just because it has a place for me to sign it, that we approved them.
Well, Oscar's ready to leave, but I.
No, we were gonna use that record.
Okay.
But we have so many conditions that it's not gonna work.
Oh, okay.
Using this
How
format.
about the first one? The first one that we did.
The first one's fine.
Okay,
First one's fine.
okay, so then.
So that one we can use.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then you
I just
have,
wanted to say hi before I walk.
Hi.
I love your outfit. You look beautiful.
okay, so you're talking about this as far as.
Yeah,
that's it.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. I'll see you too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that is what I'm concerned about, so Dan specifically just kills me. So it says non-contributing, here is on a new construction, boom, boom, boom. Take your pick of which one you are going to name as